This is Things You Might Not Have Heard. I am Jacob and Payne, and today, 8 stories in the queue for you from the past day, that's yesterday, Monday, that you deemed as conversational. You deemed them in topics including information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. My name, as already stated, Jacob and Payne. Names you'll hear today include Karen Reed, Hurricane Beryl, and Larry David, plus many more. We'll explain the vetting process in a bit, how whole we get these things to you in this newscast. Plus, we will give you some today things, some fun things that you probably ought to know. So stick around for the whole shebang. You will enjoy and love it all. At least I'm going to put it out there for you. I'm going to speak it into truth, and hope it goes that well. Let's get into things right now. As we said, we have 8 stories for the day. You can email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com for more details on how to get things stuff better, and check out our website. We'll give plenty of calls to action at the website. That, of course, is conversationproject.com. As we said, 8 stories, as I said like 3 times already, 8 stories in the queue today. So let's get into those stories, starting off with the headline for story number 1. This is not the top rated story of the day, but it is the one that's causing most of the panic and most of the talk on the news this morning. Headline for that story reads, Supreme Court rules ex-president have substantial protection from prosecution in Trump immunity case. Now, the boils down to this U.S. Supreme Court ruled yesterday that former President Donald Trump has broad immunity from federal prosecution in actions taken from while he's in office. The decision grants substantial protection to the ex-presidents, like all ex-presidents going forward, regarding their official acts. While the ruling addressed some aspects of Trump's immunity claims, the right now stuff, it also left open the question of whether former presidents can be completely insulated from legal accountability. This landmark decision underscores the ongoing legal debates surrounding presidential immunity, which wasn't so much a big deal until, Nixon needed it, and then now Trump asking for it. Now it kind of exists, which means right now President Biden is a man with no limits, no boundaries, can do whatever he wants to. Well, not exactly. The boundaries still exist. They're just more questionable because of the other guy who's trying to be the next guy, and what will he do when he has less boundaries going forward? Those are all questions we really don't want to have to answer, but guess what? They're coming very, very soon. Headline number 2. Mistrial in Karen Reed trial and killing of Boston officer, police boyfriend. Let me read that a little better. Mistrial in Karen Reed trial in killing of Boston officer boyfriend. That was not exactly the well-written headline, but it tells the story in a nutshell. A judge declared a mistrial in the Karen Reed murder trial after the jurors could not reach an unanimous verdict. Yesterday, we dropped in how before the weekend happened, the judge was like, yeah, you guys need to go back and fix this thing out, figure it out, because we need a verdict. We need unanimous decision. Yesterday, today, Monday, not Friday before, they could not come with something. They just could not come up to a unanimous decision. They were at an impasse, and the jury deadlocked, decided that the case is unresolved, so the trial is done, although they will try to go forward again. Reed pleaded not guilty to the second-degree murder and was accused of intentionally backing over her boyfriend in an SUV, Boston Police Officer John O'Keefe, while intoxicated. Mistrial highlights the jury's stark division over the evidence and testimonies presented during the trial. This is going to be a true crime and love story for quite some time now that it's kind of over. There will be some more appeals going forward, but now that we have a resolution that's not one, we can now start to dig into it and do even more of the, podcast type stuff that will happen for this thing going forward. Let's get the headline for story number 3. TV personality Carlos Watson testifies in his trial over collapse of startup Ozy Media. Carlos Watson, the former TV host and founder of Ozy Media, testified in criminal trial related to his collapse of his company. Watson faces charges including securities fraud, mail fraud, and aggravated identity theft, accused of defrauding investors in the company that was a media company that really didn't have the numbers, didn't have the reach, wasn't really doing very much. Lots of pretty pictures, not going to see in anybody's eyeballs. The trial follows a high-profile investigation into Ozy Media's financial practices and misleading information provided to potential investors. Essentially, he asked a bunch of folks for a bunch of money for this new media startup that was fresh and doing great things. And actually, one of the things that sort of got me into doing a lot of the things here for the Conversation Project and things you might have heard in More Better Media, all to find out it was all a pack of lies. Too many lies, too many lies. Number 4, Starbucks has begun to implement the Siren Craft System to improve stores for customers and baristas. Starbucks is implementing a significant improvement to its stores in-house and some things online as well to implement these things that will both enhance the customer and barista experiences. Key changes include reorganizing the production orders of hot and cold drinks, upgrading equipment, and introducing new technology to streamline operations. These initiatives aim to reduce wait times and improve efficiency. Additionally, Starbucks plans to expand the number of purpose-built stores designed to better meet specific customer needs and drive long-term growth. Purpose-built stores like stuff that are meant specifically for a fast drive-through service, or specifically for people in high-traffic areas that people walk through. Things that are made for the spaces that they're in, so they work better as opposed to a general box store that just kind of is there and fits the mold. The fact that they're doing these things to upgrade their operations, upgrade their equipment, make things more efficient, shows that Starbucks really wants to move things in a better direction going forward, and it's not just relying on good, or if you want to call it bad, coffee based on how you experience it. Starbucks here in Arkansas, here in Little Rock, is being eaten alive, specifically by Seven Brews, the drive-through coffee stop where everybody fell in love with it before it even got here, because everybody goes to the drive-through for Starbucks. You go there, there's somebody standing there like Chick-fil-A to take your order, they make your coffee instantly. Also, places like Dunkin' Donuts and Krispy Kremes, they're live. The donut shops and some smoothie shops are stepping up to give you better coffee, and the fast food places doing it as well. But the Starbucks experience, no longer so much the experience. Now they have to figure out how to make better coffee and better experiences for you, not just for people coming to the third space. Used to work in Starbucks, so I know about all the, let's call it propaganda they teach you at Starbucks to work at a place like that. Oh, this is glorious. Have you ever wondered why you can't get hash browns for lunch? Arby's had that figured out, took it away, and now thanks to Kyle McLaughlin and Ving Rhames, it's back for a limited time. Arby's restaurants discontinued potato cakes to restaurant menu returns. Oh, very poor read. Arby's returns discontinued potato cakes to restaurant menu for a limited time. Arby's has reintroduced the potato cakes to the limited menu after discontinuing them in 2021 when they added crinkle fries alongside curly fries. This is criminal read, I'm telling you that, for something as glorious as potato cakes. The return has delighted fans who missed the popular items. Potato cakes are now available again at Arby's locations for a limited time. As a former Arby's worker, this was one of the things that was awesome. Potato cakes are essentially the hash brown you get from McDonald's, except they're triangles, and you get them with cheese, get them with extra stuff. They're just awesome. Potato cakes are back for a limited time until supplies last. They'll probably run out pretty quickly, so go get you a taste of them potatoes as quickly as you can. We had a story in the queue a few weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, maybe last week, about Tractor Supply Company and them getting rid of their DEI. And a lot of cheers came about from across the world of the internets because DEI is evil. Now, here's the thing about this one. The story we had yesterday, coming from Fortune, has this headline. Tractor Supply Company's DEI reversal to appease right-wing critics could fracture its surprising diverse exurban customer base. From the Robot Editor, the story reads, Tractor Supply has decided to eliminate all diversity, equity, and inclusion roles, DEI of course, and goals following criticism from right-wing commentators. Specifically, guys like Robbie Starbuck regarding its LGBTQ stance, which is now a problem because the reversal is part of the broader push to align with conservative combustible preferences, but sparked significant controversy and backlash from folks of the, let's say, more woke crowd. Move aims to address customer concerns, but has led to polarized response from the public. Essentially, the people that are more liberal, more open, more ex-urban, if you will, are now a bit upset that Tractor Supply is saying, you know what, DEI is wrong, we're going to drop it, because they tend to go for it. When your customer base gets splits, much like our cunt nation is for kind of values and thought processes, you have issues. You try to serve everyone because it's just a hardware store, but you turn into something that varies place for things. Now, Target and Walmart essentially have two different audiences, but they, serve the same masters, just people who want fairly inexpensive stuff or fairly nice stuff that seems inexpensive. We'll see how Tractor Supply deals with its issues and how other dealers will deal with their issues getting rid of DEI, or some of them embracing it more, as it becomes a more controversial topic when it probably shouldn't have to be. The story at number 7. This is one that caught me extremely off guard, and we put it in there. You guys engaged in it heavily, so let's talk about it quickly. The headline reads, Ultra-Orthodox Jews block highway to protest Israel's new mandatory military service ruling. Thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jews have protested against the Israeli Supreme Court's ruling requiring them to participate in mandatory military service. This court declared that the previous system of exemptions was unequal, prompting significant backlash and demonstrations. Decisions led to highway blockade, doing your best to be a part of the actual, the resistance, if you will, and lots of major tensions going for the community. We'll see how this one plays out as Israel essentially running out of troops, running out of people in its conflict, i.e. war, with the mosque going on at the moment. We'll see how this thing plays out and whether now they're going to conscript the Orthodox Jews ultra-Orthodox Jews who beforehand didn't have to serve, which, of course, a lot of things they do, like the beards and the way they pray, the way they live their lives, don't quite fit into the regimen of wearing uniforms and run around in tanks. We shall see how this one plays out and how Israel will play itself out going forward on this one. It's an exemption, but is it a fair exemption? Let's see very soon. Finally, very much not least, but the last story for this morning in our 8 stories to give you, is Hurricane Beryl, as Beryl brings worst case scenario for Caribbean islands. The headline we had from the story posted yesterday reads like this, or the story we had reads like this. Hurricane Beryl has made history as the earliest Category 5 storm in the Atlantic. It has made landfall on Grenada's Caracos Islands as a Category 4 storm, causing extensive damage. Storm later intensified to a Category 5 as it moved towards Jamaica, fueled by record warm waters. Beryl's rapid intensification and path through the Caribbean have raised concern about the severe impacts of the islands and its trajectory. In fact, right now here in the States, we're keeping an eye on it as it looks like it could go ahead straight for Louisiana, right now targeting essentially Lake Charles, and going to hit there where it will make its way up to the coast and probably continue to be a tropical storm all the way up here to Arkansas, as big and as bad as it is. Beryl, the second storm of the year, and the her first Cat 5 this early, and the record warm waters we have going on. Climate change may be doubted, but there's definitely some issues with climate right now. Maybe it's not permanent, probably is. Maybe we can fix it, probably can't. But we're seeing more devastating storms, more devastating issues like this going forward. And Beryl will be with us for quite a few days. If you've seen some of the stories and news coverage out of Grenada, your heart will basically melt for what the people are going through at the moment. Let's move on to what we call our teaser story of the morning. This is where we give you a headline to check into to see if you're going to think it's going to work for you. And we do that to also give you a chance to explain how we actually get the stories into the queue, into the stories here, into you to talk to us about what to talk about. And it's very simple. You go to our feeds. Our feeds are our links on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/this is the conversation project, and Twitter or X.com. I'm getting better. We'll change the graphic, the scroll soon, I promise. X.com/th_conversation. And what you'll see there are stories. We'll put a news story link every 50 minutes or so for various sources, various news articles, various places, and sometimes we'll tease it up and give you a conservative headline with the actual liberal story and vice versa. We'll do what we can to see what you like and engage in the stories as they go. These stories here represent 8 top 15 stories we had published yesterday. So to make that happen, you just go to the feeds and tell us what to look about. Engage, like them, love them, hate them, just that simple. Read them if you will. Share them. We'd like you to do that as well. Now, today's story tease, which, like I said, is stories all day long. Today's tease already posted if you're watching this live coming down at our 5:50 a.m. Broadcast time. So you can check the story out, and you probably have hate for them as well, so you'll probably get into this one. Ticketmaster confirms data breach, won't say how many customers are affected in North America. Another reason to believe Ticketmaster sucks is the fact that they've been breached, and that's something that happens a lot. And so that's not the sucky part, but they don't want to give you the full details of the suck, how many people were actually affected in the data breach. Will this affect you? Do they have your credit card numbers? Will you have to get more of these commercials for LifeLock because the dark web is out there? It exists, just it's not as dark as you think it is. Engage in the story, read the story, see how much you hate Ticketmaster because we all hate Ticketmaster, and tell us if we're talking about this one tomorrow as one of our 8 stories we're going to present to you in the things you might not have heard. It's pretty simple, works just like that. Let's go out to our Spotlight sponsor for today, and the Spotlight sponsor happens to be the Blinkist app. The Blinkist app is one of the greatest inventions since sliced bread and pants on pockets because it helps you do what you're already wanting to do more of anyway. That is read. And how does it help you read more? It makes the reading much, much easier. How does it do that? Blinkist takes a full-size book that may take hours to read, or sometimes days if you're one of these people that read some of these Robert Greene unabridged power type stuff, and boils it down into smaller chunks. Robert Greene gets boiled down to like the laws of power, something like that. That's like an 8, 9, 12-hour book. Can get boiled down to 45 minutes or so. This is not everything, but it's like a Reader's Digest using that brand name to get you the details on it. You can read things, or you can listen to them in audiobook form. And so a regular book, a regular nonfiction book that may take 4 or 5 hours, can be read to you or read by you in their blinks, their very defined, very essence of the ideas in 15 minutes, maybe a little more, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. So check out books, and they're adding books all the time. So if there's a brand new book that you've been looking for, the new book by Scott Galloway is now there on Blinkist, so check it out. I already bought it and already listened to it in the audible format and have a Kindle copy as well, so I can read as I listen because I like that. But now you can get the gist of it in your Blinkist app, and of course, buy it directly from there from Amazon as well. Go to our link, our website for details on getting this stuff because this is an affiliate. If you purchase the app, we get a small kickback to help us keep things going. It is at this. It's theconversationproject.com/Blinkist. This is theconversationproject.com/Blinkist. You're at our website already, so click the link for Blinkist. Go ahead and sign up and get the app today. And do us all a favor. Read more for yourself. Help us out with the love from using our affiliate link to get a little bit of cheddar to keep us going. Speaking of that, it's time for the massive calls to action, which we have right here. When we talk about our website, this is theconversationproject.com, the home online for the Conversation Project. What we need you to do for the Conversation Project is check us out. Enjoy what we have there. We can do so many things for you at a place like Conversation Project. So check it out and see what's there. We have there you see an older version of a teaser graphic, but we have the newsletter version right there for you, so you can see, get all the links, what's going on for all the stories. We also have the links to the newsletter, so you can subscribe to it and get in your email about 6:20 every single weekday morning. You also can see where we are all over the place, such as TikTok, such as YouTube, such as Facebook. You can check out our conversational, very great conversational sponsors, more of them to keep things going. And consider being a partner and get more in-depth details about joining up and doing things we do. What we really need you to do is just email us. Stop by the website, email us with your things. This is theconversationproject.com. That's how you can, that's our website. The conversation inbox at gmail.com is our email address. And follow us on the feed so that we have what we need to give you the news stories we need to give you. That's essentially what we need from you. Engage with us so we can engage with you back. We have various different shows, various different ways to do stuff. Once we get things back into semblance of order with some other Operation Chaos things going on, we'll do more quick takes, more videos, more clippings, things like that. But we've been just kind of loving the studio stuff because, I'm a geek like that, loving all that stuff. So really glad to be back into the house in the studio, glad to be able to expand my kingdom and do more stuff, and glad to see more things happening. And we'll get back to more newsy stuff going forward and more actual conversation stuff so we can do more stuff with you. That's actual chatter because it's fun like that. The chatter is great. The chatter is fun. The chatter is awesome. You know what's also great and fun and awesome? Things that you probably should know. Things that would make you smarter and things that are backed by science. Which brings us to things you might ought to know for Tuesday, July the 2nd, 2024. That is today. Today, things that you might want to know. And we're going to work on Still working on graphic things because they're still, this whole thing is a work in progress. But we're glad to be here with you to do this stuff. We're glad to have the options to give you these things. We're glad to just be here with you. So let's get into today things. We always start today things with birthdays because birthdays are the funnest of the things for today, as always. So you just simply start off with Larry David, who is 77 years old on the day. Larry David, who just wrapped up Curb Your Enthusiasm, a sort of just wacky, not of his life, not life of his. And of course, the Seinfeld stuff and being a comedian and been a writer for all this time. Larry David celebrating 77 years on this day. Lindsay Lohan, don't call her Lohan, Lohan, who is 38 years old on the day. No real major things going on. She's just knocking out of the park with these Hallmark style movies coming forward, because we're glad that she's aged into that demo and can now do that stuff and is doing well after a very, very troubled childhood and troubled adulthood, if you will. Lindsay Lohan turning 38 years on the day, and Margot Robbie, my favorite Barbie and one of the top actresses, and of course brought the iconicness of Poison Ivy, but the iconicness of Harley Quinn to life, essentially. Now being re-iconicized by Lady Gaga. We'll see how that works out. I'm sure she's better in musical form being Gaga than Robbie, but we'll see what happens. And she doesn't have to put on fake British accents because she's actually British. Gaga does. Meanwhile, we're not talking about Gaga. We're talking about Robbie. She is 34 years old on this day. Our history lesson for the day: 3 things happened on July the 2nd, way, way, way back. Starting off with in 1777, Vermont became the first American territory to abolish slavery. Yay, Vermont. Thank you very much. And that was territory because it wasn't quite, a country yet. They were still fighting that whole little war thing. 1937, Amelia and navigator Fred Norman disappeared over the Pacific Ocean while attempting to make the first equator round the world flight. This is the day that Amelia Earhart disappeared, back in this July 2nd of 1937. And stepping up to 1979, the first U.S. coin to honor a woman, that's a Susan B. Anthony dollar, was introduced to the world, essentially, and the U.S. because it was our coin. Learning something today from the Big Words Project. You can always go to thebigwordsproject.com and learn more stuff about big words and buy our latest edition of Big Words You Ought to Know. Today's big word, not such a big word, but one of my favorite words, along with onomatopoeia and wrath. Yes, wrath is one of my favorite words. It is ellipsis. An ellipsis is a mark indicating that words have been omitted. She trailed off mid-sentence, leaving an ellipsis at the end to show that more could be said. The 3 dots. That is called an ellipsis. When you read 3 dots, it's showing that more could be there. Something's been omitted. There's been a little skip in the force of your speech, and there you see it in written form. Now, we've learned something. Let's get positive, why don't we? Our positive daily affirmation for today. And you find out more about affirmations by checking out my book on this one called 100 Daily Affirmations for Positivity and Confidence. That's what it's called. At Amazon, look for 100 affirmations pain, or click the links in whatever you get in the video or audio you're getting this, because the link is there as well. Today's affirmation reads, Today's affirmation reads, today I choose joy and gratitude over worry. So I'm not going to worry about the fact that I just scrolled through the slides too quick there. I'm going to choose joy and gratitude that I got them up there in the first place. This affirmation fosters positive emotion. By choosing joy and gratitude, you consciously shift your focus towards positive emotions, which can enhance your mood and overall sense of well-being. The shift then counteracts feelings of worry and anxiety, making space for happier and contentment in your daily life. Today, I choose joy and gratitude over worry. And one last thing to get into today. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Celebrate, dance to the music, baby, for Made in the USA Day. Made in USA Day is celebrated on July the 2nd by consumers and manufacturers as a way of boosting sales for local made products, spending money. The day is observed just before Independence Day, when patriotic feelings are at its all-time high. USA, USA, USA. Makes it an event that's great for your calendar and your splendor of spending money. Made in USA Day encourages the manufacturing of goods in America and consumers to choose the path of those goods instead of those imported from elsewhere, although your avocados are still coming from Mexico. The day also celebrates the companies and brands that manufacture their products in the United States and offer employment and top quality opportunities for services to their customers here. USA, USA, USA. Alternatives to USA Day or made in USA Today. Get it straight. Not USA Day is in 2 days. Canada Day was yesterday. Made in USA Day is today and the second. It's also World Sports Journalism Day, so celebrate a sports journalist of your choosing, not Jason Whitlock. Let's not celebrate him. Maybe not Skip Bayless, although he's on the fence. And World UFO Day, the day where the world comes together to wonder what exactly is out there and have we been probed? Can't answer that question. I don't know. With that, we have wrapped up the things for today, both the things you might not have heard and things you might ought to know for Tuesday, July the 2nd, 2024. Thank you so much for being a part of our show today, or shows, if you will, basically 2 different shows. Thank you for being part of the family today. We enjoy having you here. We enjoy being back to do this thing and having what we can do to celebrate, and dance with the music. There you go. We want you to stay hydrated, stay focused, stay on task. Totally butchered that. For every single day, because we need you around to do more great things, including watch more of these videos and just be a great person all around. Subscribe to the newsletter, follow us on our feeds, and engage with us via email at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Of course, consider being a partner and helping us do more things in the more things category. We love it. We love you. Mean it so much. Thank you so much for being with us for another edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Check out some pictures I'll put up behind the scenes of the studio, how it's looking right now, and how I am triple fisting it this morning with drinks. I got a Coke, got a coffee, got a water bottle. It's all over the place. We're having fun. We're doing the thing. We're enjoying ourselves, and hopefully you're enjoying us as well. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the live chat. Let us know in email. And have a great Tuesday.